So on to the next step, coilovers. We'll start with the rears. Seems to be fairly straightforward. We'll drop this, remove bottom, remove two from the top, and that should just pop right out. So let's hope that's true. So the factory Bilstein suspension handles pretty great, actually. To say it's done 115,000 Ks or whatever, I mean, it rides pretty good. It wallows a wee bit, but that's probably tiny sway bars more than anything. The ride is very nice. I'm going to hang on to them should I ever need to put them back in, or if, you know, suffer a catastrophic mechanical failure in the coilover. It'd be nice to have something to put back in there. So let's get going. The most difficult part about this that I can see is getting the tools in there, so we'll see how we go. 14mm, 2 bolts here, one here, one on this side. Let's get cracking. You know what I'm saying? Little más. I'm going to leave it in there and undo this one cracked before I start trying to figure out how to pull them out. It's going to be easy the other way around. Yes. Okay, that one's on there pretty good. Whoa! Naughty girl. Here we go. So I think what I'm going to do is use a long screwdriver basically to poke this thing out. So let's do that. Okay, so apparently camera stopped recording partway through that, which is annoying. Got the coilover out, so I got both the bolts out the top of the top arm. I released the bolts out of the top and the bottom of the actual shock, the mounting points. And once these were out, I managed to get the bolts out using a long screwdriver through one end, and just pushing it out, backing it out while I twisted the bolt. It was a little harder than I expected it to be. Probably if they were lubed up it would have been a bit easier, but the long screwdriver in the end made that a bit easier. We got those out, and then it's just applying some force to this arm, the whole suspension arm, pressing it down to get enough movement for the shock. And I was able to lift up actually, so I pushed this down and lift up and out. So I went up that way and then came out. And here we have it. So the next step will be to disassemble this to get the top hat off. And for that we will need some spring compressors. So let's do that. Okay, so we'll get these spring compressors on. The idea of these is you wind them in, and it so it compresses the spring, which takes all the stress off the top hat, so we can undo these without the whole thing exploding and killing you. So let's get started with that. These ones are kind of handy in that they have a half-inch drive on the end, so you can use a socket or an impact to wind them, or you can just use a crescent or wrench to wind them in. secret to a particular place you're supposed to start. I'm just going to put them where they fit. So I'll wind them until they're grabbing onto a part of the coil, one on either side. The idea is to keep the tension equal on either side so it doesn't warp. Cool, so I'll start winding that in. So you want to do, well, I assume what you want to do is small winds on either side, one at a time, back and forth, just equal amounts to keep it even. I'm not sure how much we actually want to wind it. I mean, as I said, the idea is to just get tension off these top bolts to hold everything together. So when you undo these, it doesn't shoot apart. So I think we'll just keep going. I might switch to a socket just because I'm not sure how much we want to be winding out of that. It makes me a little bit nervous using the driver. I'm going to go on the limb and say that that might actually be enough. We'll start undoing these. Cool, so we'll start taking these top hat nuts off. A 14 and a 17, so the bigger this bottom bolt, the bigger one is the 17. Probably come off fairly easily. We'll just get the 17 off. So there's no tension on that whatsoever. So bolt comes off, top hat comes off. Here we go. Marvellous. So I can start moving the tension out of this to let the spring expand back out. And there we go. So I can see that spring is actually held down quite a fair amount with the compressors there. And there we go. Disassembled, we have the bits that we need. The top hat crown, we've got new bushings. So we can start assembling the new coilover. So let's do that. Okay, so we have the parts that we need off the old suspension, off the old coilover, which is the top hat. This washer, I guess. It could use the old bushings, although I've bought new bushings that uses the factory Mazda OEM replacements. So we can install these on the new coilover. So let's do that. First suggestion is to wind the collets down as far as they will go, just to get that spring down to make it a bit easier to install everything. We can remove the nuts off the top. v-maxx or Miata recommend that you don't reuse the original nuts off the old shocks, use the new ones, which makes total sense to me. It's a very fine thread, so I'm super nervous about stripping them, so I'll take them off. The instructions show you the order of the parts, although it's kind of confusing, it has the collar first, which makes no sense because it should obviously come at the top of the spring. So aside from that, it's pretty straightforward. So we've got the bump stop here, we have the washer, which we can see here, the spacer, then comes one bushing, top hat, next bushing, and mount. So let's make sure that these are all in the right order. Caliper spring, the smaller spring is on the bottom, which we want. Plastic separator between the springs is in there. We have the bump stop, we have the washer, we have the first bush, which is the asymmetrical one. It says up, and we want that pointing up towards the top of the shock, and it has this little doodad widget dongle sticking up the front. We want that pointing up. So that goes on. So lower bushing pointing up. And so once the bottom bushing is on, we also need the spring guide with the conical piece pointing up, because that gets seated in the bottom of the top hat. So we'll chuck that on there. Now we want the top hat, go in there, top bushing, and this top pusher. So now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it on myself. Stand by. So that was a little trick. I just need to compress that to try and get this nut started. So now we'll start winding it on. So at the top of the thread is actually square off on either side, supposedly so you can grab it to stop the shaft spinning while you do the nut up. It seems to be spinning freely for now, so we'll keep going and see how we get on. The idea is we want to wind this in until the top bushing is roughly the same width as these two washers, so it should sit almost flush or thereabouts. So I'd say we're about there. Nearest makes no difference, it's that same width. All of our parts are on in the correct order. So now we'll just wind the top locking nut on. The threads are still good, so it's a massive relief. So we'll just do that. Yeah, kind of tight for now. We'll double check the tightness once it's actually on the car. So there we go. Coilover completely assembled. Let's throw it on the car. Okay, so now we have the coilover assembled, we can chuck it in here in the reverse order, getting the old one out. So I'll chuck it in, bolt it in from the top first, then I'll probably jack up the arm, get the bottom bolt in, and then the top ones, but we'll see how we go. So let's have a crack. So just want to, because these are asymmetrical, you want to make sure, see the bottom mount is offset. You want to make sure that so they're left and right. You want it to set the shock body as far further towards the back of the car, because that gives you the clearance between the drive shaft and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you got the right one in there, and then obviously the damping adjuster is pointing out so you can get to it. Cool. just going to shove a screwdriver through there very carefully. And then we use the jack. So jack the arm up. Which will move the shock up, and then I can get the top nuts on. Okay, so we've just jacked up that suspension arm to push the coilover up, so now we can start getting those top nuts on. Obviously the fuel piping on this side makes that slightly more difficult than the other side where it's open, but we'll chuck those on. Okay, so that's both the top nuts on. Let's start working underneath. Okay, so those top nuts are in. We can jack this arm a bit, get the bottom in, and then we may have to jack it up a little bit further to get this top arm in. I think it's probably going to be the best order of operation. Let's give it a crack. Okay, so it is using the original hardware of the OEM suspension. Just a single bolt for the bottom, and make sure we don't lose the compression washer. Fire that in there. Nice and tight. Easy enough. In fact, a lot easier than I expected. Chuck some nuts on there. And we'll glue them up. Slightly more difficult, will it? Get it from underneath. And voila! Coilover installed. Okay, so having done the rears, we will do the front coilovers. It should be fairly straightforward. On here we will, from what I gather, is called the long bolt method. So we'll just take out the bolt hole in the top arm. We'll remove the bottom mounting bolt for the shock, which this will drop away. We'll do the top two, and then the whole thing should just come out. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's go. Comes the nut, washer and spacer. There we go. This whole thing just slides back. Assuming there's nothing to get it out. There we have it. That was really straightforward. Okay, so now this whole top arm is floating free, which will allow us to move the joint forwards. So this holds it flat for now. We'll undo the top nuts now. Okay, so now I'll undo the lower nut and bolt holding the shotgun, and that will allow us to move everything out of the way. So if we lift, taking this off has allowed us to sort of move all the geometry here, and I can get a socket in here, so that's been done quite well. Whiz that off. Okay. Getting somewhere. And the brake lines. Line the brake lines. There we go. Coilover out. Let's go and disassemble it. Okay, so we've got a new coilover. We'll put it in basically just the reverse of how we got the old one out. I've just been holding this top arm in with a screwdriver just to hold it in place. So we'll allow that to come out so there's not too much weight on the brake line here. New coilover in as best we can. Geometric puzzle that it is. Oh. Is that right? Holy shit. Yeah, I don't think that's right at all. Get you in here. This. Like so. Just like that. Now that gets back into place. There finger tight there for now. Chuck these nuts on. Okay, so let's get this bottom bolt in. I'm sure it is important, but nut towards the front of the vehicle. There you go. So as per the instructions, we'll leave this loose-ish until the vehicle's on the ground, and then we'll come in and snug everything up. Join me on the next one where I assume things. I'm assuming this can't hurt anything, so too generous. I smell things. Stuff smells funky. And I tighten several nuts. Thanks for watching.